Hello everyone, I'm Vinay Rathi, founder of Polo Wealth Advisors. We are distributors of mutual funds, PMS, AIF, and other financial investment products. Our offices are based in Pune, Kolhapur, and Baroda. Our clientele varies from family office, trust, companies, individual clients. Uh, we I have an experience of over 15 years in this industry. Actually, over 17 years now. I worked with reputed organizations earlier before I started with this organization, Polo Wealth Advisors. So let's start with a small presentation that I have. So our aim is always to see how to make our clientele happy. Although, as it said, happiness is a state of mind. It's a regular pursuit of happiness that all of us have. But there is something which does make us happy. There is a way in which money can make us happy, and we aim to deliver and we aim to look at that happiness to come to our clients and our investors and the investor community at large. So what's a pursuit of happiness? um, does do we get a happy feeling buying a new car? Do we get a new feeling, a very happy feeling buying our second home? Or let's say, for that matter of fact, probably I've not listed it here, but are we happy just buying a new phone for ourselves? Are we happy starting our own new business? Or would we be happy if we know that we're going to retire well, or we have money to buy whatever we like? It does give us that uh, happiness when we are able to achieve what we want to achieve through certain pleasures that money can provide us in life. But so yeah, not everyone can afford to buy this happiness across the shelf. Not everyone is born with a silver spoon, and everybody needs to work towards it. And as legendary investor Warren Buffett has said, it is important for us to make our money work even while we are asleep. It is very important, that our money makes money even while we're not doing anything about it, and it can happen only with proper investment planning. So, as I said, why invest? We need to invest because we have our goals in life, and probably not all our goals in life can be bought across our shelves. So, we need to plan for it. So, yes, what's the future value of money? We've we've seen, and it is in our culture. We hear that very often when our elders say, "हमारे ज़माने में एक टॉफी 4 आने की आती थी, आज 10 रुपए की भी नहीं आती। हमारे जमाने में मैंने स्कूटर इतने में खरीदा था, मैंने गाड़ी इतने में खरीदी थी, and a lot of these things. Why is this? What is this referred to as? It is referred because the value of money is going down every day. There is inflation today, and there has been our economy is an inflationary economy, and it will be an inflationary economy. So if we don't invest properly, the value of our money actually goes down. So this is a report from IFL which says that in 15 years, 1 lakh rupees of ours will be same as 34,884. So think about it. If you want to keep your money idle in your bank account or in cash, the money is actually depreciating if not invested properly. So, yep, where to invest? That's a question which does come across. Where should we invest? Uh, as most of we in financial world like to use a lot of jargons, and yes, we would say it is important to invest across asset classes. It is important to invest in equities, debt, cash, or keeping money at the lowest risk, and other alternatives. Equities can be invested through mutual funds, stocks, or a private equity holding. Debt can be invested through long-term debt papers, corporate bonds, Government of India paper, RBI bond. Cash and equivalent can be termed as FD, your bank account, or a liquid mutual funds. Alternatives like gold is as an asset class. It does gain a lot of headlines, especially in these times. Everybody is talking about gold as an asset class. But if you would have planned properly to invest, then there's a certain percentage of money which has to be invested in gold throughout. So we don't need to rush to buy an asset class when it is increasing, but our regular plan needs to have all of these asset classes. So whenever we don't chase the asset classes which are making money, but then we're already invested into all the asset classes which will make money for us. Um, an important question which came across through global insurance brokers and through a lot of interactions that I have today is how to manage cash flows in difficult times. And today it is. If we look around, there are salary cuts which are happening. There are people who are losing their jobs. There is people who are dependent on rental income. They are not getting their rental income. Um, so there is a cash flow situation which is not very favorable for everybody. All of this can be managed only and only if we have a financial plan in place. uh, Basic rule with respect to financial planning, we need to see, do we have sufficient life insurance cover? Um, does our life insurance cover protect our earnings when we're not there for our near and dear ones? Does our medical insurance cover, and especially in this time, does our medical insurance cover our medical expense, including something like COVID-19? And it's again not to be looked at now, but we need to have medical insurance always. So if there is an uncertain time which comes in, we don't need to rush to our savings. Uh, Other expenses like other general insurance like house, vehicle, and all these. I'm pretty sure I'm doing this session for global insurance brokers. They are very very capable for you to help with all of these requirements. So yes, we need to look at our insurance first to be in place, so that in an uncertain time we don't need to rush to our savings. What is an emergency fund, and why do we need an emergency fund? uh, Emergency fund, so this came across when with one of my interactions, where I was asked, why, you already got us to do all the insurance, why do I need emergency funds? But as times are going on right now, salary cuts, pay hikes, stoppages, job losses. Do we do we cover for all of that? No, no insurance, or I'm not aware of the insurances which would cover for all of that. So in such times, it is very important that a sizable emergency fund is there with us to protect our lifestyle, which should ideally be at least 2 years of our expense as a rule of thumb. So uh, as a bread earner in the family, we don't uh, we are able to sustain our lifestyle with our near and dear ones while going through these tough times. So how do I allocate my income is the next question which comes in. um, it is very important to understand what financial needs that you have. Investment across asset classes is again very important. Asset allocation is the most important rule of investment. You need to have equity, you need to have fixed deposits, you need to have liquid funds, you need to have gold, you need to have all the asset classes with you. um, so let's say if you have 100 rupees as your monthly salary, and you are 35-year old with a kid, uh, you would want to plan for some things like retirement, uh, because as I said, we need to plan for our goals. Retirement is something that won't go away. We can't help it. It is going to come. So we need to plan for retirement, which is some time away. So it can go into equity for your children's education. Again, that can go into equity. An SIP for your expenses, regular expenses can go into debt funds, and an SIP towards your emergency fund, as we said, for 2 years can go into bank or liquid MFs. Of course, cash flow needs to be managed for your EMI and home loan. And once you plan for all of this, you can always spend the rest. It's and like I would have said, earlier as well. It is very important for us to relook at our goals. Our goals of retirement, children education are not going away. Whether let there be a COVID-19 situation or let there be any other situation. Probably for us to buy a car or a vacation or a second home can be delayed in this time, but some of these goals cannot be delayed. So you you can't not have retirement. You can't not save for your child's education. You need to save for all of this. uh, Again, while I chat with a lot of individual clients, one thing is that everybody tries to look at where is everybody making money. It is very easy to think that if everybody is making money in gold right now, let me also follow gold. If everybody is making money into equities right now, let me follow equity. If everybody is making money into startups right now, let me follow startups. But remember that your situation and your neighbor's situation is not the same. You need to have a choice which is best for you. Easier said than done. Whenever there's a bull phase which comes into an asset class, you get pulled towards it, but you can't do that. You need a proper asset allocation planning throughout your life to enjoy the fruits of investment. So what is information bias? And it is very important, especially today. So by definition, it is a cognitive bias to seek information when it doesn't affect our action. So people often make better choices with lesser information. Let me ask you, how much more of information about COVID-19 do we need? And for us to see news every day, do you think that it is helping us, or it? I would say that it isn't actually. It is not helping us. It is just we're gathering more information, and it is just cluttering our mind. Um, I also talk about a very not a very old ad, but a couple 2 to 3 years earlier, there was an ad which was from mutual funds, Amphi, and a, a man, 35-year-old, had a kid who was hardly 2 or 3 years old in his lap, and he was asking for investment advice to his friend, and he said, "Okay, you can look at equities if you're investing for your daughter." And he said, "But the market can go down tomorrow, or the market can go down in a month. If you're investing for your daughter and the requirement is 15 years down the line, it doesn't make sense for you to think about the what the market is going to do tomorrow or day after. Your view has to be 10 years or 15 years down the line." As the famous investor would say, do not save what is left after spending, but spend what is left after saving. Is very, very important, especially in these times. A rupee saved today is your money which you can spend tomorrow. We can't fall prey to our superficial desires, uh, peer pressure. We see a lot of peer pressure. Our neighbor buying a new car, an expensive car, we wanting to match up to that. Um, Mobiles, cars, vacation, expensive vacations. You need to know what your financial plan talks about, what your income talks about, and then you need to be spending the money. It is very important in financial matters not to look at peers and not to get under peer pressure. So, as I said, there is everything: how to invest, where to invest across the asset classes: shares, bonds, golds, fixed deposits, real estate, PPF. Investment would help you to conquer inflation. I would like to summarize: inflation would help you to conquer inflation. Make sure that your money value is not going down. To manage your market risk, if you make sure that you do your asset allocation properly, uh, it does create an additional source of income. We've seen investors across with proper discipline across a decade. Investment does become match or sometimes even gives better income than your regular primary source of income. You need to give your investments time to give it to become an additional source of income. Diversification is very important to to build your wealth. Uh, there is investment for everybody. There is investment for every. There are investments for all the durations, right from liquid short term funds, where if you're investing for less than 3 months or less than a month. There are debt funds which would take slightly longer duration, and then there are equity funds, and then there are a lot of diversified funds with various asset classes which can be looked at. uh, as you see here, the return target against the risk that you can take. If your duration is much longer, then the risk is lesser and you can target much higher returns. In mutual funds, there are various ways of investments. You can invest lump sum. You can do a systematic investment plan, which is very popular today. There is a systematic transfer plan. So you put money into a liquid fund and you keep moving money towards the asset which you want to target. So, and it is very popular today. STPs are very popular today because if you have a 10 to 15-year plan, and the markets again are very dicey for a year or year and a half, and you think you want to just take your time in investment, you can put money into liquid fund. You can do a systematic transfer plan towards equity over next 6 months or next 1 to 2 years. Systematic withdrawal plan are used when you want to have regular income from your investments. Uh, and last, of course, I would just want to summarize saying, it is important right now for all of us to stay home, stay safe, and we need to start looking at investments. There is a very famous saying, uh, which I will want to talk about before I end this session. The stock market humbles everyone at one point of time or another. It makes everyone feel like a genius in the bull market. It is it is very easy to feel like a genius when there's a bull market, and it is very easy to also feel like you're not good at all when there's a bear market. So market always humbles everyone. Like in cricket, we say, you're not as bad uh, as when you're struggling. You're not as good as when you're in a good form. Remember, in investing, it is very important to have a grind, to stay invested, to keep to stay invested and to keep your investment grinded throughout the duration, to really make best of the returns. So by that, I'll end. There are a few questions. I'll probably answer them, and I look forward to interacting with all of you again soon. Thank you.